Where did your greatest childhood adventures take place? Was it a high-speed racetrack on the living room carpet? A secret agent's base behind the sofa? Or an entire city that rose from a pile of plastic bricks? The toy box of 1960s Britain contained all these worlds and more. For the first time, toys became a household staple, and the playroom became a space where the technological ambitions, cultural obsessions, and sheer energy of the era were made tangible, all in miniature. These are the stories of those worlds of play, built one beloved toy at a time. The pocket money empire. The modern British toy market was born in the 1960s. As real disposable household income per head rose over the decade, families found themselves with money for non-essential luxuries. Toys shifted from being rare treats to a central part of a new material culture. This economic boom created a new kind of power, not just for parents, but for children themselves. The market for pocket money purchases became a driving force in the industry. No company understood this better than Lesney Products with its Matchbox cars. The entire concept was born from a simple, practical need. Co-owner Jack Odell scaled down a model of a road roller so it could fit inside a matchbox, the only size of toy his daughter's school would allow. This principle of portability and affordability became the brand's foundation. Similarly, companies like Britain's Limited sold miniature garden sets for just under 2 shillings, allowing a child to build up a collection incrementally with their weekly allowance. This economic model was revolutionary. It empowered children as consumers in their own right, giving them the independence to build their own collections, piece by piece. This pocket money empire wasn't just about cars and farm animals. When the Daleks became a national obsession in the middle of the decade, the merchandising machine produced toys for every budget. For the price of a single shilling, a child could buy a tiny Dalek Rolykins from Louis Marx and Company. These miniature menaces, sold in vast quantities, allowed any child with a few coins to take part in the craze. This was a new dynamic, where a child's own small change could give them ownership over the biggest cultural phenomena of the day. The joy was not just in the playing, but in the choosing, the buying, and the slow, proud accumulation of a personal empire on a bedroom shelf. The world of high fashion. As Britain's economy bloomed, so did its youth culture. The swinging 60s saw London become the global epicenter of fashion, music, and art. A revolution driven by and for the young. This new, confident energy found its perfect expression in the toy box through one of the decade's most iconic figures, the Cindy doll. Launched by Pedigree Toys in 1963, Cindy was more than just a doll. She was a calculated and brilliant response to the established American giant, Barbie. Pedigree's market research had revealed that British girls found Mattel's Barbie to be unrelatable, with an adult figure that was seen as too sophisticated. In response, they designed Cindy as the wholesome, friendly girl next door. With a younger face and a more modest English rose look, she resonated deeply with the British public. She was positioned not as a distant glamour queen, but as a familiar friend. Her success was cemented by her wardrobe. Cindy was the doll you love to dress, and her fashions were not generic copies of Parisian couture. Instead, They were designed by contemporary London tastemakers like Fowle and Tuffin, the very designers defining the look of Carnaby Street. This made playing with Cindy a direct way for children to engage with the aspirational, trend-setting world they saw in magazines and on television. Her world was one of parties, horse riding, and modern home life, reflecting the new possibilities of the decade. This strategy, combined with a pioneering television advertising campaign, was a resounding success. Cindy became Britain's best-selling toy in 1968 and again in 1970, decisively winning the sales battle against Barbie on home soil. The world of screen adventures. The single most transformative force in the 60s toy industry was television. The expansion of commercial broadcasting created a direct and powerful new channel to reach children, while popular shows became the primary engine for generating new toy crazes. This synergy between the screen and the playroom redefined the business of toys and the very nature of childhood play. The first and most dramatic example was Dalek Mania. Following the debut of the Daleks on the BBC's Doctor Who in late 1963, the characters became an instant national obsession. By 1965, a vast merchandising machine was in full swing, with dozens of companies producing Dalek-themed products. The market was flooded with Dalek toys of all shapes and sizes, from friction drive models to the tiny Rolykins. A Dalek toy was not just a plastic cone, it was a specific character with a known voice and a history derived directly from the television show. Play became less an act of pure creation and more an act of reenactment. This pattern was repeated with Gerry Anderson's Super Marionation series. While shows like Supercar were popular, it was Thunderbirds, which premiered in 1965, that became a merchandising juggernaut. The show's futuristic vehicles were perfectly suited for toy adaptations, and companies like Dinky produced highly sought-after die-cast models of the Thunderbird craft. By 1966, over 120 companies held Thunderbird's licenses. The influence was not limited to children's programming. The immense popularity of the Sean Connery James Bond films created a massive market for spy-themed toys. The undisputed king of this genre was the Corgi Aston Martin DB5, released in 1965 to coincide with the film Thunderball. It was a triumph of miniature engineering. Into a 1/46 scale model, Corgi packed 4 operational gadgets: a working ejector seat, pop-out machine guns, extending bumper rams, and a rear bulletproof screen. The tooling for this single toy reportedly cost £45,000. The investment paid off. The car was a spectacular success, winning the inaugural Toy of the Year award. For a child of the 60s, these toys were magic. They allowed you to hold a piece of your favorite on-screen universe in your hands and become an active participant in the stories that captivated the nation. The world of speed and competition. The 1960s was a decade that celebrated mechanics, engineering, and the thrill of speed. This cultural fascination found its outlet in a new category of toys that brought high-stakes competition directly into the home. For many families, the ultimate expression of this was the Tri-Ang Scalextric set. With its electric motors and guided tracks, Scalextric was more than just a toy car set. It was a miniature Grand Prix. It captured the skill, tension, and excitement of motorsport, becoming a fixture in dens and playrooms across Britain. In the world of die-cast vehicles, British brands like Lesnie's Matchbox and Metoy's Corgi had long dominated the market, celebrated for their high-quality, realistic models of British and European cars. This dominance was challenged in 1968 with the arrival of a revolutionary American competitor, Mattel's Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels operated on a completely different philosophy. In stark contrast to the British focus on realism, it embraced a fantasy-driven Southern California hot rod aesthetic. The cars featured loud paint jobs and exaggerated designs, but their true innovation was technical. They were engineered with low-friction wheels, designed for one thing: high-speed racing. This new approach proved immensely popular with British children. In response, Lesnie quickly launched its super-fast line of Matchbox cars to compete directly on speed and performance. But the impact of the American newcomer was undeniable. Hot Wheels won the Toy of the Year award in 1969, confirming the success of its high-speed design and signaling a major shift in the tastes of young consumers. Whether it was the skillful control of a Scalextric race or the sheer velocity of a Hot Wheels car flying across the floor, this world of play was about the visceral thrill of speed and the sweet taste of victory, the world of your own creation. While television and film provided ready-made scripts for play, the 1960s also produced some of the greatest blank canvas toys ever conceived. These were the tools of pure creation, providing children with systems and figures to build worlds entirely from their own imagination. The Danish company Lego saw its plastic interlocking bricks become widely available in Britain during the decade. The toy's genius lay in its precision. The intricate molding of the plastic enabled the famous clutch power that made the system a global phenomenon, allowing for the construction of stable, complex structures that could be endlessly rebuilt. Another marvel of accessible engineering was the spirograph. Invented by the British engineer Dennis Fisher, it was a masterpiece of design. Using a system of plastic gears, rings, and wheels, it enabled children to draw complex and beautiful mathematical curves. It perfectly captured the era's fusion of art, science, and design, making complex geometry both playful and beautiful. Its brilliance was recognized when it was named the Toy of the Year in 1967. Perhaps the ultimate vessel for a child's own stories was Action Man. Launched by the Leicestershire-based company Palitoy in 1966, he was a licensed version of Hasbro's American Movable Fighting Man, G.I. Joe. Recognizing that the American name was meaningless to a British audience, Palitoy rebranded the figure and began to steer him towards a distinct national identity. Soon, Action Man was available in a range of distinctly British uniforms, including those of the British Army and Royal Marines. He wasn't a character from a specific story. He was the hero for any story you could imagine. Palitoy continuously innovated to make him more realistic and versatile. The company developed flock hair, a fuzzy, realistic alternative to painted hair. This was followed by patented gripping hands that could hold accessories more effectively. And later, the adoption of eagle eyes, a small lever in the head that allowed the figure's eyes to shift left and right. With Lego, you could build the world. With Spirograph, you could design it. But with Action Man, you could be the hero at the center of it all. Looking back, the toys of the 1960s were more than just distractions. They were child-sized embodiments of a new Britain, forged in the white heat of a scientific revolution, as Prime Minister Harold Wilson described it. Spirograph made complex mathematics feel like art. The intricate gadgets of the Corgi DB5 made engineering a thrilling adventure. Even the articulated plastic body of an Action Man mirrored a public fascination with advanced robotics. These toys made the abstract promise of a modern, forward-looking future tangible. They socialized a generation into the optimistic technological mindset of the 1960s. And in doing so, they built worlds that still feel vivid in the memories of those who were lucky enough to play in them. So, which of these toys do you remember? Let me know in the comments below. And for more journeys into Britain's past, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.